This is a one-off special which was recorded at the Empingham Cricket and Social Club in order to promote the 2025 Rutland Beer Festival. There's lots of light-hearted chat about ale and cider and food, and you may even learn something about the hows and whys of a beer festival. When rain stops play, it's time for some pub natter. So, Justin's gone photographing bears in northern Finland.
Okay.
And
Lovely.
judging by his social media, he's taken some pretty good photos. So I snuck out to come to Empingham Cricket and Social Club, or is it Empingham Social and Cricket Club? I think it's more social than it is cricket.
Yeah.
Although there is a match tonight in a lovely English late summer sunshine, and this is to do a kind of one-off special, a one-off pub natter special, to promote the Rutland Camera Beer Festival. And with me, I have Susan Holford, Neil Broad, and Rich Harris. But first of all, why don't you introduce yourself, and particularly relating to your role at Camera?
Okay. I'm Rich Harris. I'm the chair of Rutland Camera. This is my third year. And I actually got involved with Rutland Camera when I first moved to the area as a result of it probably would have been about the 7th beer festival. I saw that they were looking for volunteers for the festival, and came along and met a few of the people, got involved, and although I was aware of Camera and involved in the licensed trade, I'd never actually been a member, but getting involved at that first beer festival in, I think it would have been 2018, then that was the catalyst, if you like, for where I am today.
Pretty much running it.
As I say, the chair for the last couple of years, 3 years, and I did organise a beer festival for a couple of those before coming into the role of chair. So, it's a great little festival. This is our 12th. I think it's always been held at the County Museum in Oakham, which is ideal environment for a festival of our size. We're very much looking forward to this year's, which is the 27th to the 29th of June.
Yep, so just repeat that again.
The 27th to the 29th of June.
So do you hear that, folks?
The 27th to the 29th of June.
Get that date in your diary.
Yep.
Neil, briefly introduce yourself, please.
All right. Okay, I'm Neil Broad. I'm the treasurer of Rutland Camera and also the festival organiser. The unwritten rule is that we organise 2 festivals on the basis that on the second festival you learn from the mistakes you made on the first festival. So I did last year's festival following on from the 2 that Rich had done. I'm doing this festival, this is my second year. Like Rich, I've always been a lifetime real ale fan, but I joined Camera. I attended the first festival in I think 2011 as a guest, and suddenly thought, why have I never joined Camera in all these years? So I joined Camera immediately after that festival, and then sort of 3 years later than that I was branch treasurer, and the rest is history. So I think this festival tends to pull people in, and then we never manage to escape again. It seems to be the theme. Yeah.
My dad, before I joined the Air Force, my dad gave me one bit of advice: never volunteer for anything.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Committed.
I thought that was the RAF motto.
Yeah, I think it might be. Susan.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, well, I'm struggling to remember when I first got involved with Camera. Was it about 2015?
Sounds about right to me.
About that.
Yeah.
My late husband Nick and I joined and got involved with the beer festival. Had a great time. It's a lovely crowd to work with. There's a fantastic atmosphere. And I seem to have acquired the role of doing the charity stall alongside the Prosecco bar. When we first started,
Good combination.
it is a good combination. And when we first started coming, there weren't that many ladies in the group. And I can't remember the percentage that was mentioned at our last branch meeting. We've got quite a high percentage of,
Yeah.
I think it's
lady members now.
It's brilliant.
And not ones that are not just coming as the wives.
Yes, that's really good.
So was it?
I
what
think
was it,
it's
Rich?
27.5%.
Yeah.
You
David shared with me.
it's
Yeah,
27.5%?
well,
Are you
make
sure?
that
Are you sure
lady.
you're not the accountant?
I never like to commit to anything, Tim. But 27.5%, seriously. And the national average is 18%.
Wow.
So
That's
that
good,
is, does reflect very well on the branch, I think.
Yeah.
Are all the ladies that are members fans of real ale, or is it more of a social thing?
Quite a few do like real ale.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the social side as well.
Yeah.
And of course, our vice chairman, Hamira, does quite a lot to promote her idea of ladies being introduced to real ale and finding out more about real ale. And
That's really good. But there's an educational side to it, yeah.
yeah.
So we've introduced a new feature into the podcast. If you could go to a desert island and only take one beer with you, which one would it be? Susan, doesn't have to be a beer. So we'll start with Rick.
The one drink that I would choose to save from the on the desert island, or if the pub was burning down, I think is the way
Yeah.
it's phrased, is West End Draft,
Where's that brewed?
Adelaide, South Australia.
Oh, interesting. Nice. Gone for an Aussie beer.
We've gone back
And there's
to
me-
the
there's me-
halcyon days of my
Yeah.
youth, basically, Tim.
There's me thinking it's all Castlemaine 4X.
No.
It's not on Foster's.
No.
It's not. I'm wrong. Thank you.
I'm going to follow suit because I've done my desert
another
island
Aussie
drinks. I've done my desert island drink, so it makes it easy. And really, if I said that was my favourite beer, then why change now? So my favourite beer, the one I was going to save, is Batham's Best Bitter,
Yeah,
which
good
is
beer.
which
Good
is a
beer.
great beer brewed in Briley Hill in the West Midlands. And this stems back from when I was at university in Birmingham in the early 70s, showing my age. And basically Birmingham, like most of the UK, was a beer desert. You had a choice between Ansell's Bitter and M&B Brew 11, which were both horrible, gassy, chemical concoctions. But if you could find somebody who had a vehicle and venture out to the Black Country, there are still proper breweries there, the likes of Holden's and Simkiss and Batham's in particular.
Yeah.
It's funny how you kind of like you do associate a beer with an event or
Yeah.
a time in your life.
Yeah, and
that was
both of our
particularly-
beers were
Yeah.
from when we were young,
Yeah.
early 20s probably. Yeah.
celebratory.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
That's great.
yeah.
So, Susan, have you got? Is it a
I
beer
am
or is it a drink?
I am going to go with a beer. We moved up here from Horsham in West Sussex,
Oh yeah.
and King
know
and
it well.
Barnes was our favourite. And my favourite King and Barnes was their old. I love a winter ale,
Nice.
and so that would be my favourite.
The next part 2 of that new thing that we do is pub grub. you can think typical pub, or it can be Michelin star pub. What would be your favourite? You can choose anything on the menu.
I do enjoy a Scotch egg, actually, as pub grub, actually. Yeah, I'll go with the, yeah. Yeah.
Do you know there's a pub at St Pancras railway station called the Betchamin Arms?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They do the world's best Scotch eggs.
That's it.
Oh,
Did
really?
we have a pint in there, Neil?
Is
Didn't
it-
we? On the way back from the cricket at Lord's last summer. Did we go in there?
I'm not sure. Went in a few.
I think we may have. I think we did.
But good
I
choice.
only know the
But yeah, no, I'm
champagne
going with the
bar.
Scotch egg.
Good
Thank you.
choice. Thank you. Neil?
Scotch egg. Well, I mean, it's difficult to get past the pie, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think,
Pies probably second favourite at the
and a
moment.
proper pie. Obviously, we're talking pies,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
with a full casing. This
Exactly.
is a big debate, and don't get my younger son started on
There's
that.
no debate.
There's no
if
debate.
you put a crust on the top of
Yeah.
gravy, it's a
Yeah.
casserole.
Is it? Yeah, it's a casserole
With a crust on the
with
top. It ain't a pie.
pastry. Yeah, it's not pie. So yeah, proper pie, you know, and something,
Yeah.
you know, Steak and kidney pie.
Yeah.
You know, I love a steak and kidney pie.
Yeah, I'm with you.
old-fashioned.
I don't think you can beat a pie. Susan?
All pies.
I often like to have a ploughman's where you can have local cheeses.
Ah, yeah.
And being a lady, you get a bit of salad as well.
Salad is what food eats.
But one of the nicest ploughman's I've had recently has actually been at the grain store because their
Really?
ham is gorgeous. They cook it in brewery wort. And they got some really good cheeses.
That's brilliant. Shout out to Peter at the grain store. The big question, really, that we should kick off is, what is a beer festival?
Well, it's a social gathering. Is the bottom line, I think.
And the other question, sorry to interrupt, is why?
Why do we have beer festivals? I'm not, as I say, I've not been involved with CAMRA for that long, but I would imagine when beer festivals, CAMRA branches started having beer festivals, and obviously there's been the national ones and regional ones, whatever, it was very much behind the CAMRA, or underlying the CAMRA's principal objective of promoting and supporting real ale. So it was a showcase for the breweries that were brewing real ale, and it was also very much a social thing for the CAMRA members. So I think that's where it all started from, I think, promoting real ale, and for the organisation of CAMRA and all its members for a social event to enjoy it. And I think that, as I say, that's principally where the idea came from. We've probably in the last few years tried to focus a little bit more on promoting the festival to non-CAMRA members and to a broader audience.
I guess I should interrupt you there and explain what CAMRA is, because there might be listeners out there who don't know what CAMRA is.
Of course, yeah.
So it's the Campaign for Real Ale.
It's the Campaign for Real Ale.
National organisation.
National organisation. It started about 52 years ago, I think now. And I believe it is. Well, it claims to be the most successful consumer campaign group ever in this country, if not internationally as well.
So it's putting pressure on the government to improve the situation for publicans, landlords, and
well, initially it started
brewers.
off to preserve real ale, so it was all about the brewing of proper beer, and which when 52 years ago we were moving, the brewery scene was moving very much towards the keg market and pasteurised products and stuff like that, rather than real ale, which is what some very active campaigners and some of our members within our branch were very much involved in the early days. Dave Casewell, our secretary, is a very long-standing member. So that's where it came from. But these days, we do try and promote certainly our festival to a much broader audience rather than just CAMRA members. But we are showcasing real ale and breweries to that audience.
Cool, that's brilliant.
And also ciders.
And real ciders, absolutely,
and
Susan.
we also promote what's available locally, so we always have a local gin supplier. And we also try and cater for a broad range of people, not just the sort of hard drinking beer fanatics.
Like us. So it's
so that families can come along, and wives, and that's why we have the Prosecco bar.
Paint a picture. So it's Saturday morning on the, what was the date?
The Saturday morning will be the 28th, but 28th. We do start on the Friday, the 27th.
Well, I'm thinking Saturday because the sun's going to come out.
Okay.
And I'm walking down past the museum in Oakham. I'm going to walk through the entrance. Paint me a picture of the Rutland Beer Festival.
Well, once you get past the front desk with all the information and the charming, smiley people who are giving you a good welcome, you'll come through into one of the outdoor courtyards in the museum. So the festival's held amongst a lot of the old farming implements, and there's straw bales around. There'll be music. It'll be
Oh,
lovely
so
and sunny.
Music, is that live music?
Live music.
Yeah, so there'll be
There could well be a nice waft of the barbecue that's being done by the caterer, and
the sun shining.
the sun shining.
always.
And it's
A lot of
just a
joviality.
lovely, convivial,
Yeah.
friendly atmosphere. It's only a small festival, so people feel that they stand a good chance of tasting a wide range of the ales. And we have a very good cider stall as well.
Which I
with
found
the real,
out to my detriment last year.
That's very popular.
So-
But we also, on the charity stall, from my point of view, we also try and provide some really top market soft drinks for people that come along, that are the drivers and the supporters
That's
and
fantastic.
the children. So they don't just have to have a branded fizzy drink. They can have a nice... We try and make a soft drink look like a non-alcoholic mojito, and
That's really
so
good.
They feel, the wives feel a bit special and enjoy coming.
So, obviously the reason that I would personally go to this is to try lots of different beers and ironically ciders. How does that work? How do you go about trying them? Is it, do you pay as you go, or is it some sort of token system?
That's the treasurer.
Yeah, there is.
So at the does that happen at the entrance? Do you make
This happens at the entrance, so there'll be a token system. The entrance is free for camera members, £2 for non-members. Under 18s come in free because obviously they can't drink. So as you come in, you'll get a package. Everybody pays £10. Camera members, it's £2 for that. Camera members free entry. You pay £3 for your glass deposit, which you can either keep the glass when you leave or you can refund the glass, and then you get £7 worth of beer vouchers on your token. Non-members, it's the same, but they have to pay £2, so they only get £5 worth of vouchers. You can buy additional vouchers if you want in £5 or £10. You can buy those as you come in, depending to how many pints you think you're going to drink, or you can go and get top-up vouchers at any time. There'll be a station inside the courtyard selling them, or you can come back out to the front desk to get them. So, and then when you go in, you present your vouchers, you order your beer, present your vouchers. The staff behind the bar will mark off the amount of money you've spent, and you keep going until you've
run out of vouchers?
Run out of vouchers.
So, obviously, how many beers is there going to be, approximately?
There will be approximately there'll be 30 beers on the cask bar, and then I think we'll have 10 or 12 on the keg bar. 10. It was 8 last
10.
year. I think we're doing 10 this year, and then there'll be 10 ciders and perries.
Wow.
So in total, you've got 50 in total.
So, say somebody wants to try as many drinks as possible. Can they do that in a way without ordering pints?
Yeah, you can. All the glasses are. You can get a pint glass or a half glass, but all the glasses, the pints have measures for halves and thirds.
Oh, right.
And
So
the
you can
halves
have
have halves and
thirds.
thirds. So you could drink a third. So if you wanted to try as many beers as possible, you could just have a
Right.
drink in thirds. So obviously you could get through quite a number of different ales if you were so minded.
So is there some sort of voting system where you vote for your favourite beer or something like that? Or are there awards given?
Well, the beer of the festival, we do it quite simply. The first beer that runs out is the most popular, so that's the beer of the festival. And likewise with the cider of the festival, and I think that's a reasonable way of doing it, really.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to work. So.
Cool. So why should people go?
Because it's a great day out. The beer's good. It's very, very friendly, and jovial.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said, we have live music throughout, some great entertainers on who all volunteer their time. We don't pay anybody. They're usually very local people that are performing. Some very talented musicians amongst them as well, some less so, but I won't mention names. But no,
Yeah, I thought the
that's
straw
a branch joke. Sorry, but
Yeah, I know.
Eddie Markey is our entertainment officer, and he's lined up all the performers. And Eddie is a real trooper. He's absolutely marvellous.
I think last year he did 4 Beatles in one.
He did his Beatle in a box.
Beatle in a box.
Yeah. So we have live music throughout on the Sunday afternoon when we really do encourage more. Sort of, families are welcome at any time, but we do focus a little bit more perhaps on the Sunday afternoon when we have our dance fest. It used to be, when I first got involved with the Rutland Morris always used to perform Sunday lunchtime and then through the early part of the afternoon. But a personal view of mine was that perhaps we needed to perhaps expand a little bit more on just the Morris. So we do have more of a dance fest thing on the Sunday afternoon where we've had line dancing before. We've got something similar this year, and we've also got the Lindy Hoppers coming along to
swing
perform.
dance.
So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so people can join in.
oh yes,
So
absolutely.
big band jazz.
Well, I won't go quite that far, but it's
They're very
it's
enthusiastic, and it's
entertaining
great to watch.
enthusiastic.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
So,
But it is, overall, it's we like, as I say, we've tried to broaden the appeal, so we're not just focused on camera members that come along and enjoy the beer. Of course, they're very much welcome, and they're our core audience, if you like. But we have recognise the need to try and expand and promote camera to a broader audience, and it is a very successful event for us, the beer festival, in recruiting new members. It's the one event of the year. Members might come along to branch meetings or meet us at social events and decide they want to get involved, but certainly the actual beer festival is a major opportunity for us to recruit new members.
so why should people join camera?
Because it's Rutland Camera in particular is
Yeah.
a particularly nice branch to be involved in, with a great group of people. We have some marvellous social events, and we are very much involved in not only supporting Real Ale, but we're very active in trying to support all of our Rutland pubs, and we don't show favour to any one or the other.
Yeah.
If you're a Rutland pub, then we want to support you. So you're very much, if you join Rutland Camera, you're supporting the local pubs.
Can I also add a little bit about it from a woman's point of view, in that I joined with my husband, who's subsequently passed away, but being part of the camera branch meant that I could still go to pubs with people I felt safe with, and that was very important. That you could, they're very supportive anyway, because
Sure, yeah.
they saw him decline over a number of years, but it was something you could do as a woman on your own, within a safe environment of people you know and trust. Can I say something about the charity that we're supporting?
Yes.
Unless you were going to come to that.
No. That's really important.
This year, we always try
In
to...
fact, before you do,
Right.
can you explain how you go about choosing the charity?
Well, we try to have something that benefits our local environment. So members often are involved with a local charity for one reason or another. And Russ, who has spoken before and is very involved with the festival, is familiar with the Rutland First Responders who offer first aid. They're volunteers. They receive a basic medical training, and they're incredibly highly thought of, and they support people and they can attend fairly immediately, and one of the first responders is a member of this cricket club anyway. But I know from personal experience where I've had to call them for a relative who's been poorly, they're there within 5-10 minutes. There's somebody there who can do the vital signs and do everything and hand over to the ambulance people. It's such a good service. Because
And that's what's the charity called?
Rutland First Responders.
And how do people find them? Have they got a website?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
They do.
And it's Rutland First Responders.co.uk.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. And I don't think they get any funding. It's all they have to raise all their own funds through charity events. I know, going back, I know the Grain Store do a big event for them. The pork pie champion. You know, they have the pork pie competition at the Grain Store.
Why don't I know about that?
It's the World Championship.
The World Championship.
Yeah.
One of our members is the world champion. Actually, Tim.
That's
Chris Bird's the
Really?
World champion.
You'd probably sat next to him actually.
That's a
at
whole
one of our branch
podcast.
meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Burden will put you in touch. I'm sure he'll be more than pleased to talk about his pork pies. Getting him to shut up's the problem.
Before we go on to the topic of pork pies, let's go back to this.
Yeah.
Did we complete that conversation? We did.
Well, I sort of butted in and said that I think that they don't get any government funding at all. All of their funds, all their equipment and that is raised through charity work and donations and events like ours, and as I say, what the Grain Store does, and probably other pubs as well. So so it's a fantastic service they provide, but all very much relying on individuals and funding themselves.
Cool.
Yeah, so I mean, just to bit as well, the way we support them, there were several ways. As we said, Susan will be running a stall where she'll be selling prosecco and cordials, and she'll also be running a tombola. This year we've run a raffle in previous years, but decided the tombola will be easier, and all the profits from that will all go to the charity. And then, in addition to that, as people are leaving the festival, they will, if they want to cash in their glass, we offer them the option: do you want your money back, or would you like to donate it to our chosen charity? And the same with any unused beer vouchers. So, there are several ways that we collect cash, and I think our charity last year, which was LOS, the Leicestershire Rutland Hospice. And we got, I think, about £1,500 we collected for them.
Wow.
It's generally been around that.
Yeah. So it's a
That's
serious
really good.
amount of cash we raise, which is, thanks to the generosity of, the visitors really, and it is. But so it's a very important part of the whole thing.
So we've been joined. Susan's left us, and we've been joined by Russ Hibbert. Russ. Well, you describe your role, because it's manyfold, isn't it?
Well, my role here, as you know from previous podcasts, is I'm kind of bar manager and look after the place here at Empingham, which is why I couldn't join you earlier, because we've had a cricket match on and I've been changing casks and talking to regulars and fielding a couple of issues. So I've just come in now. So my role at Rutland Camera is I source the cask ales for the festival. So it's a role I've done since Alan Pickersgill left, and we were just talking earlier, and I think this is my 8th year of sourcing the ales, the cask ales.
Let's
for the festival.
just stop there a sec, because there will be people listening who don't really kind of understand the difference of a cask ale and
a keg ale. Well, yeah. So basically, the craft ale is just straight from the cask. It's a live process, whereas the craft keg ales are all they've got gas in them, and they're dispensed kind of like the lagers and what have you. So there's slight difference. So, but my role is organising the cask ales.
So cask ales contain beer that's delivered live.
Well, yes, it's a live process, and when you tap and spile the cask, it starts the secondary fermentation, and it's a live entity then. Yeah.
It certainly is on a Thursday morning when we're tapping all the casks. It's quite an exciting process having to, it's quite messy. Actually,
How long does that take? How long does that take to tap all those casks?
Well, for me, it doesn't take very long because I just deliver them, drop them off with the guys, and say, right, I'll see you on Friday. Off you go.
It probably takes an hour and a half. I would hazard a guess. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. Well, basically, my role is to try and create a balanced list of 30 cask ales. So
what's your thought process for doing that?
my thought process initially is what the Beer Festival Committee wants me to do in terms of styles of ale. So, for instance, last year we had 20 blonde beers, we had 5 traditional beers, and we had 5 black beers, so porters, stouts and milds. On the back of what happened last year, at the first meeting this year, we've tweaked it slightly, so now it's 21 blonde, 4 trad and 5 black. So we just realised what goes, particularly because with it being a June festival, hopefully the weather's going to be with us, so the blonde are more refreshing. That's easy for me to say as a blonde drinker.
No, I agree.
I think
most people like those drinks in the summer.
Yeah.
Don't they?
So we tweaked it slightly. So it's now 21, 4, 5. But it's not just that balance. It's the balance of ABV and power and styles. So at the moment the American hops, the West Coast IPAs, they're all the rage, and there's lots of breweries.
East Coast.
Well, both. But there's lots of breweries promoting that style now. So it's yes, I want a few of those, but I want a few traditionally blonde ales from microbreweries with hops that we know from here. So it's just getting a balance of styles, of colours, and an ABV, just to create a balanced list of 30, which I would hope that 95, 97% of people that come to the festival would say, do you know what, that was a nice balanced list. So, and I hope I've got it right.
So once you've kind of like got that in mind, okay, I need this, and this. How do you then go about sourcing them and decision making?
Well, I go about sourcing them through the same process as I do sourcing ales for here at Empingham Cricket and Social Club. I go to breweries direct. I go to 1 or 2 wholesalers I use, like Beer Metropolis, Small Beer. What have you got coming up? Who's got some interesting stuff coming up? And I've talked to and got to know a lot of brewers and a lot of people that in the brewing industry over a number of years, and I think I just send a big, massive email out initially, and then people come back.
So it's a bit like a sieve.
Well, it is. They come back, and and if I'm honest, and I can put it out there to them all again, if you come back first, you're the ones first in my mind. So
Do you try and obviously we've got local award winners, successful brewers that we want to promote. Do you try and make sure that you include them?
Most definitely. It's the Rutland Camera Beer Festival. So obviously we've got from Baker's Dozen, we've got from Grain Store, we've got from breweries around us, Neen Valley, Tidsteam, Round Corner. So yes, I want to include all those, but also what I like to do is to get some beers in from elsewhere. And in the past, I've kind of done it like I don't know, on a whim. I choose an area of the country and say, right, I'll get 4 or 5 from there. So in the past we've done Norfolk. In the past we've done South Yorkshire. This year because I had a wonderful, wonderful evening back in November last year in Bristol.
So it's based on the success of your social events.
My
is what you should be saying.
12-hour session with a mate of mine around the pubs of Bristol. I've got a pallet of 18 ales coming up from Bristol. They're not all going to be on at the Canberra Beer Festival, because I'm supplying the Castlebartham Music Festival as well, and obviously here. But yes, I'm getting 3 from 6 breweries, and I've been talking to Tom at Bristol Beer Factory, and we've got the pallet coming up, and there will be 6, maybe 7 or 8 of them at the Canberra Beer Festival. Yeah.
Wow. Do you try and get some up and coming new kids on the block?
Yes, to a degree. So, in fact, today I was talking to Ben from Imperial Brewery in Mexborough, and he was saying that he's got a couple of new lads in the area that have started brewing.
Where's Mexborough?
Mexborough, near Rutland, next door to Rotherham, so South Yorkshire. So obviously they do their own. They've got Chin Chin, Nail Makers, Jolly Boys, and they're just keen to get those out of the area, just to say, look, we know people in our area like them, but get them out and see what other people do. But at the same time, as he was saying today to me, there are brewers that they thought were going to make it, but have faded away. So I think it's an evolutionary process. You've got to brew some good ale to keep going. And that's you need the populace to decide whether it's good ale or not.
Sure, yeah. That's brilliant. So, what a great reason to pitch up to the Rutland Beer Festival. Not only are you going to get to try some amazing local ales, but you also got some stuff coming from Bristol.
Bristol, South Yorkshire. I've got some coming from Norfolk. My lad's just bought a house with his partner in Wyndham. So there's near Norfolk. So there'll be stuff from Wolf Brewery. There'll be stuff from Beeston, all around there, and 3 of the breweries are delivering it to George's garage for me to pick up on June the 8th to bring back here. And on the way down there, I'm picking up 3 beers from Duration, who are in between Swaffham and Kings Lynn. So, my wife gets a bit fed up with me, if I'm honest, because wherever we go in the country, I'll say, right, well, I'll see if I can pick a beer up from somewhere, for this place. But I'm getting it from this place, but I've got Rutland Canberra Beer Festival in mind, I've got Castlebartham Music Festival, and wherever I'm supplying ale to or want to introduce people to different ales, well, why not? Wherever I am, let's see what's about.
Shout out to Brancaster Brewing Company. I had a pint of your oyster catcher at the weekend in Brancaster, and it was bang on. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I had that at the Jolly Sailors in Brancaster?
It was the pub just down at Brancaster Staves.
Oh, okay.
The White Horse overlooking the salt marsh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's some lovely ales in Norfolk, which is why there'll be some Oakham at the beer festival.
Final words before we disappear about the Rutland Beer Festival.
Well, I'll just say Russ has probably been quite modest there, really. He's told us a lot, but he's fundamental to Rutland Canberra Beer Festival. I mean, the selection of the ales and making sure they all get there and, coming up with the list. He said it is collaborative. He does share it with us, but Russ leads us in the right direction with it, which, we thoroughly appreciate. I mean, he's got the insight into it. He's dealing with punters all the time here at the club, so he knows what the trends are with drinking and stuff like that. He's in touch with all the brewers and that. The fact that I don't think we've, certainly in my time being involved with the festival, had any complaints at all about the selection of our ales. Speaks for itself. So Russ does a fantastic job, and he's fundamental to our beer festival. So I'd like to, make a note of that.
I think it's fair to say as well.
Edit that bit out.
What we haven't, one thing we haven't mentioned as well. I mean,
All right,
Russ
that's
has
for
obviously
that pirate sport, yeah.
Russ has obviously filled us in on the cascales, but Dean and Jill Baker curate the keg bar for us,
Yeah.
which will be a few of their beers and some others from breweries they know and collaborate with. David Whittle has done the cider and perry bar, where traditionally he gets 8 ciders and 2 perries and gets a great mix of ciders. And again, quite often a theme.
Real ciders.
Real ciders, no fruit ciders.
The only fruit involved is apples and pears.
Apples and pears.
He's responsible for my seriously bad hangover last year.
Yeah.
Last year I went to the beer festival with a good intention of drinking and trying as many different ales as I possibly could. Then I tried this Watkins cider.
That's his favourite.
Darlington Mill.
Oh, Yarlington Mill.
Yep.
So much so that I ended up buying a load. I ordered it online.
We drank it the same night. That's your headache.
That is seriously good stuff.
Yeah.
Proper cider.
Have you got an opinion on cider? Do you like it?
No.
No, not like it.
No, I haven't got an opinion because no, I don't like it.
Okay.
No, I'm real ale through and through.
Yeah.
That's it. Real ale red wine. That's me.
For me, in the summer, a light ale like we're drinking now, or a cider, perfect. Yeah. I think it depends on the season or what you're eating as well. Yeah.
I like a dry cider.
Yeah. It has to be dry.
And it has to be really dry.
It has to be a proper
Crisp
cider.
dry cider.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I really enjoyed that chat.
Good. Thank you.
Me too.
Yes. So have I. And I'm sorry I was late. So
I'm hoping, if you're listening, that you're going to pitch up to the Rutland Camera Beer Festival on the
27th to the 29th of June at the County Museum in Oakham.
Oakham. Be there or be square.
square.
We shall see you there. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Tim.
Cheers, Tim.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. We squeezed this one in after promising that our next one would be the Exeter Arms. So I can double guarantee our next podcast will be from the Exeter Arms in Uppingham, where we chat with the landlord, Alex Woods, and our special guest, Diana Mary Rose, who is a psychic, healer, and an author. As you know, we are not a money-making venture. Our goal is to promote Rutland's watering holes and to give a voice to local folk. You can help us by leaving a podcast review, which will only take a few minutes, ideally on Apple Podcasts, as that is where we have most listeners, although we are grateful for any review anywhere. Your reviews helps to promote our little county. Thank you. The music is by Tom Arnold. That was a Pub Natter broadcast.